In our next episode of ARTICO, we showcase a hub for multidisciplinary artists, delve into some self-care by Brenda and reconnect with our roots with the dance and rhythm of Conqueron. Being an artist in DC can be difficult. However, there are spaces for up and coming artists in multiple disciplines. The Torpedo Factory is one of them.
Today we are here at the Torpedo Factory Art Center with Rashad Ali Muhammad, the artist. So how are you doing today?
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for sitting down with us and sharing your art and and what makes your art special. So can you tell us a little bit about this the studio we're in and how did you get here?
Sure. So the Torpedo Factory has been in a phase where they're getting new artists in, an influx of artists and trying to be more diverse, be more equitable. So when the Torpedo Factory Art Center started, it was more of like an artist-run studios, and kind of the whole thing was you were pretty much in your studio until you left or you brought in another artist and they would take over your studio, but it wasn't really a competitive process. It's pretty much who you knew, and they would just take over the space. Okay. I was here maybe 2 or 3 years. When I first started making art was like 2016. I remember they had another process where they were open for new artists, and I was like, I could never be in here. I was like, this is out of my realm of possibilities. And here I am today. No. So I was like, okay, well, it's actually just, that was a really surreal moment when it actually happened. I was like, when the process opened, I literally, talking to my partner, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I feel like it's too much. And he was like, you've literally been doing all the things up to this point to get to where you are to have the space. And I was like, you're absolutely right. And so once I owned that, I was like more forthcoming and more energized and empowered to have a studio here and just even apply and own that I deserve to be here. Yeah.
So at what point in your life did you realize, hey man, I'm really good at this art thing and I need to go forward with it?
Interesting. So my mom will always say when I was a kid, I was drawing on the walls. So I've always been a creator. But then like in high school, I was like known as the art kid. And then going to college, I started in film, but then I went to graphic design because it felt more artistic and I could do that. And also be like more communicative and just be able to use my artistic sensibilities in a consumer way. And so I was always worried about not being a starving artist, because that was like the trope at the time. It's like, I don't want to do that. So I was like, I definitely don't want that at all. I like a lifestyle and I have to keep it. So, but then in my career, I was working in 2016 as a graphic designer for University of Maryland Global Campus now. It was University of Maryland University College at the time. And so I was like feeling burnt out. It was always just doing design. You're working for other people. I started just playing around and I did some stuff for my office at my job. And so people were like, oh my God, it's really amazing. So then that just kind of excited me to like try some other things. I was just creating a bunch of stuff, and eventually my mom was like, okay, you're taking up too much space. Like, are you gonna show this anywhere? What are you gonna do? And once I saw people's reactions to my work, I was like, oh, like I could actually do this.
So you've done multiple, I guess, formats in art. So you've done photography, you've done video, now you're doing, So how would you describe your art in this current state?
Ooh, current state. So, I would describe it as I'm a analog and digital collage artist. I try not to pinpoint myself in terms of like what I do, because I'll say I'm more of an explorer in general. So I'm always open to finding new ways to create, or even just talking about the collaging, like I want to get into fashion now. So it's kind of like, how can I use my collaging sensibilities in a fashion mindset? So it's just like, when I got started in collage, which was just during the pandemic, it was focusing on using unconventional materials and like basically recycling things because we were just in the house all the time. So I was like, well, what can I use around the house as opposed to like buying something new? And I was like finding greeting cards and flower arrangements, like the faux flower arrangements, plastic bags and things like that. So I was like taking that and learn how to use that and create paint with materials. So it's like that's what I would say I do now. Although even when I do my video, it's kind of like digital collage where I'm like playing with the layering of imagery or video and things like that. So it's always constantly just collaging, just in different contexts.
So talking about the community in this space and your art, you talk about your community of art friends, right? Do you think as a person of color, black person, do you think the art community is it more difficult for you, or is it not as many,
It's a loaded question. No. I'll say this, being in the art community in general, most artists are so open-minded, so just kind of chill about race and stuff like that. So it's not such an issue in that context, but like being here, it's been interesting in the context of like being a black person, having a public studio with a window. It took me a week or two just to kind of get acclimated to like people constantly looking at you, and it's like cool. But in general, just in the DC area, especially like near Howard and just being connected with other black artists, you can talk about the stories and you understand each other. It's just great to have that community to be able to just talk about outside of just art, but like the experience of it. And it's just like, it is significantly important to have a community around you that you can just go to and pour into each other.
Yeah. So let's talk about what inspires your art, and then when you're inspired, what's your creative process like?
So what inspires it in general, so it's interesting, this story. So when I first started painting, I just was creating anything from my imagination. I didn't really have a real reason behind it. I just thought things were interesting. I did surreal skin tones because I didn't want to be specifically black necessarily or any certain race. I just wanted to be a black person's perspective on the world as opposed to just black art specifically. So once I went to Africa at the end of 2019, I went to West Africa, Togo, Benin, and Ghana.
Okay.
And so like going to the slave dungeons and just being the tour guide like reenacted what the conditions were and was talking, like I had this like out of body experience. I was like killed over on the wall. I felt like their ancestors were calling to me. I was like, it was,
wow, it's powerful.
It was powerful. It was a lot, but it changed my perspective, one, on how I move through the world, and it's like just understanding like this is where we came from. We are very resilient people. We're very strong people, and focusing on like we have limitless bounds within us to do all the things that we want to do.
Many people have kind of noticed your work here, but what kind of pieces have people probably seen from you around the city?
Okay, yeah.
Since the city is buzzing with your work.
Yes, it is. So I have about 6 traffic boxes in Hyattsville area, Hyattsville, Edmonston, up Kenilworth Avenue.
Okay.
There's the Nakabi piece, which is a woman. You just see the blue turquoise turquoise face with the eyes, and then like a head wrap. There's the I'm Not Your Target. That was my response to gun violence at the time. That happened literally I think it was like 2019, 2020. And then I have the 2 pieces up Kenilworth Avenue is Bantu knots. That's one, and then the other one is a pink and green piece called Ivy. It was not inspired by AKAs, but the colors just happened to go with that. And so then also, I just recently had a box in Southwest DC. It's at the Federal Metro Center. It's kaleidoscopic metro views. So I just took the metro ceilings and made my own kind of. To me, the metro station ceilings are like kind of mesmerizing. So like I tie that in with like a kaleidoscopic effect, and it's like this vibrant, colorful traffic box that's in Southwest DC. But then, so I applied for some more recently. So there might be some more popping up in Southwest as well, hopefully if they select them. And then I just finished a commission piece for Kaiser Permanente at Shady Grove. It's 4 large scale panels of green faux leaves. It's a large scale panel, and yes, Kaiser Permanente in Shady Grove. So that's another larger commission piece that, I mean, maybe Kaiser Permanente patients specifically will know, but that's there. So
Yeah, so Rashad, I want to thank you for your time once again.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Self-care has been a trending industry for over a decade. And here in DC, creators are designing their own self-care products with love and intention.
Hey y'all, hey, I'm Morgan Wood, and we're right here, uptown DC, in the heart of the Petworth neighborhood, where we're at Flowers by Alexis, but we're gonna be talking with Brenda about her business, Brenda Made. So let's get into it. Brenda, thank you so much for having us in this beautiful space. Can you just tell me more about your backstory, how Brenda Made was actually made?
Absolutely. So Brenda Made really started when I was going through a depression a few years ago. And I was creating with my hands because it made me feel like I was tapping more into my creative side. So I started off with butters, body butters, and a few years later, I decided to kind of launch the website. And that was around 2021. So to me, having body care or products that are made with a lot of intention, and you can smell the quality of the ingredients, you can tell that someone created that, made me feel really good when I was going through it. So I wanted to bring that experience to people through my products.
What kind of products does Brenda Made make?
So I make soaps, right? Cold processed soaps. So I use essential oils, herbs, and clays, and I let them kind of cure for a few weeks. I also have moisturizer. So my butters, I have about 3 of them. A really simple line. I do gift sets, and I have an aromatherapy spray that's sanitizing, and it's made with cardamom and citrus. In addition to that, I also have a station where I create, and others can create actually, their own bath soaks or body scrub blends. And the cool thing and important thing to me about Brenda Made is that a portion of each sale goes to organizations that help people afford therapy, because that's important to me and something that I went through when I was looking for assistance.
You talked about your backstory and Brenda Made being created at a time where you felt down. So talk to me more about that mental health aspect. How does that, how do you incorporate that into your products?
I incorporate it in a few ways. For example, with my bar soaps, I engrave affirmations on there. So you might see kind of like angel numbers on my soaps, or messages like accept self, and little things that I picked up, nuggets along the way, because I want you to open that when you're and feel something, you know, and uplift your self-care experience. So yeah, and in addition to that, I also have a blog on my website.
Okay.
And that's where I list kind of like the resources I've come across, and hopefully it helps other people too. And I continue.
You're just sharing your knowledge.
Sharing my knowledge, sharing my experiences, and the same thing I do on my newsletters as well. Right now, I'm really liking the Mama Aowa soap.
Okay.
It's a bath soak where you can immerse yourself in some warm water.
Is that this blue one?
It's this blue one here, and it's intentionally blue. I kind of modeled it after Mama Aowa in the Avatar film, which is Mother Nature.
Okay.
And you know, Brenda Made really is about connecting with nature, and grounding. So I have blue tansy in there, which is a calming essential oil, and lemon, and some butterfly pea flower in there that turns the water a little bit blue, and then you have specks of pink. So I love the smell. It's just relaxing and it's uplifting. You know, you can soak your feet or your whole body.
Is this for children? Is it, can children use it? Can elderly people use it? Is it safe for everyone?
Yeah, it's safe for pretty much everyone.
Okay.
So men, women, I've had a mom come through, a new mom, and she created a bath soak for her baby.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it was really beautiful. Instead of the salts, we just made it really gentle with some oats and some flowers, you know, for bath time. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's more about being hands-on and just pausing and creating something nice for yourself.
I was just getting ready to ask you, how did you come up with each creation? Because they just seem so intricate, and it's a lot, but I'm sure, you know, I'm sorry, I just want to keep smelling it. But how did you come up with this? It's not only beautiful, but, you know, it helps you from, you know, it helps you visually. I'm like
Yes.
just looking at it and just stuck on it, but also, you know, when you actually use it as well. So
It's all about just, I use my intuition a lot when I'm creating blends, whether it's scents or salts or scrubs. So I'm inspired by, you know, experiences that I go through or scents I might smell somewhere outside and just, or films that I see, like the Avatar film.
Okay.
And I kind of go back into my lab and try different blends out. And they usually come out spot on, but I might have to like adjust it a little bit, you know? The scrub that I have is called an ingrown scrub, and that's basically for just like trapped hairs, rough skin. And I use salt in particular because salt has a lot of like antiseptic, antibacterial properties, and like I mentioned, it breaks down you know, the dead skin cells.
Right.
In that particular scrub, we put some oatmeal in there, and colloidal oatmeal. And colloidal oatmeal is really good for softening the skin, dry skin as well. Okay, so this is my Easter set. And in this, I have my wild rose bar. Actually, I have two. You can decide between my deep moss bar or more citrus gift set, or something more feminine and light, like the wild rose. I also have my aromatherapy spray in there with the cardamom and citrus. A cotton towel to get you started, you know, something fresh and new.
Nice.
And this is one of my favorite body butters. It's my orange blaze butter, and it has mango butter, vanilla. It's a sweet scent, but it's very light and it absorbs so nicely. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful set. I think great for just reflecting and pausing.
Great for yourself, great for a family member. And talk about that aspect of it, gift giving, while also, you know, considering someone's mental health.
When it comes to the products I make in terms of gift giving, self-care is always very helpful for when you're going through a difficult situation, because it kind of, at least for that moment, interrupts the stress and helps you like experience something new. So I actually, when I'm packaging my products, I want them to be like little gifts, either for yourself or someone else, and just really special so that you remember how special you are, and you know, you appreciate that moment that you have in the morning or evening whenever you self-care. All right, so we have your jar here to get started on the first product that you're going to be making and creating today, which is a bath soak. So with the Mama Aowa soak, we're going to start with 2 big scoops, so really go for it, of the rock salt.
2 big scoops, okay.
Nice. Perfect.
All right.
And then we're going to go with 2 scoops of the Epsom as well.
All right, two big ones?
2 big ones. I know a lot of people don't want to do too much.
No,
but
making mess already.
it's okay, creation is always messy. But about 1 spoonful of that butterfly pea flower powder.
And what does this do?
It has some good antioxidants, and this is what I use as a natural pigment to turn the water a little bit blue.
Okay.
Which is really nice and calming. And then I'm actually, if you want to grab a popsicle stick right there.
Okay.
A little stir.
Is that where that kind of mixes them in? Oh, I see that. Okay. I like that.
Yeah, so it's going to turn it a little bit blue, and then we're going to also add some blue corn flour, which helps to soothe and tone the skin.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
So we got corn flour and then
A spoonful of lavender buds.
lavender buds. All right. And sprinkle there.
And a spoonful of rose petals.
Ooh, I like roses.
That's going to add like a nice pop of pink to the water.
Okay. Nice spoonful. Oh wow, this already looks amazing. You know what I mean? The flowers and the blue, and I can see the rock salt, the pink peeking through.
Yeah, texturally it's really exciting to look at and to smell, you know.
Speaking of smells, you were talking about.
Essential oils here.
Okay.
So I like to use, here, I'll let you grab that. I like to use essential oils because in terms of sensitivity, fragrances kind of upset my nose a little bit. And I wanted something that you can like really breathe in and know that it's good for you and, you know, and true to the actual scent. So that's Blue Tansy.
I always use eucalyptus with lavender. Do you have a eucalyptus oil?
Yeah. This is the eucalyptus here.
Okay.
Just gonna say, what I like to do is kind of hold up the essential oil and the jar itself and kind of do like a waft.
Oh, to see if they will complement, because I could just throw my whole thing off.
Yes. I think you're onto something though.
I wouldn't use a lot of it, but maybe since we used 3 drops of lemon, actually I snuck in an extra one, that's 4 drops of lemon. I can feel it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
that's nice. That's nice. That's nice and calming. I want to take a bath right now.
Yeah.
So tell us where we can find you, how we can learn more.
Well, you can always find me here Wednesdays, Saturdays throughout the month at Flowers by Alexis. My Instagram is Brenda_made it. And also my website, brendamade.com.
For over 2 decades, Conqueron has excited audiences and inspired many to take African dance classes. We caught up with Conqueron during a recent rehearsal.
We're here at the Conqueron African Dance Company with the art director, Asan Kanti. Thanks for having us here.
Oh, it's great to have you here. We don't get too many visitors here in television. This is great.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Can you tell me about your background in dance? How did you come to get inspired to create a dance company?
Yeah, I come from a family, with very close to my mom, and she was a great dancer, and we born the same day, so I pick up from her a lot, from what I do, and I'm from Senegal, West Africa, born in Senegal, and at the age of 15, I joined a dance company in Senegal, because in Africa those days we don't have a school of dance, and mostly of us. Started, it's a creator's gift, and then you begin to, I always interested about theater, and dancing and the stage and all of that. So that's the way it started, age of 15. And then after that, I start traveling, and I have this idea just wanted to learn about all the history and all the culture. And I start traveling inside Africa after college. Just going all over the place. That's the way I end in the United States. Yeah.
So since you've been here, what do you say has been the most rewarding for you as far as your dance career?
The first, soon I got here, I was brought here to perform with the Wild Animal Park, San Diego.
Nice.
That's the way I started it.
Okay.
And then you begin to learn and begin to, with the commercial, and people begin to hear about the dancer and the park and all of that. And I start getting connection, and they start bringing me to New York and other places. And that's the way I started it. And then I ended with we put a dance company in California, and then we end and do the opening of Epcot, Walt Disney. I was there for quite a while, dancing and performing.
You said the opening of Epcot.
Yes.
Okay.
To represent Africa. Yeah. And that's the way I started it. And I get around a lot, from Europe to everywhere.
So tell us more about the Conqueron Dance Company and the inception of that.
Yeah, how it started, what we did is, soon I moved here, I started giving free classes for the community. That's the way I started the company. Because the company, we didn't have it was not about auditioning to get in. No, the vision was to able to preserve the African culture and to have dance company representing Africa. May I wanted to, all the teachers come from Africa. May everybody come from different parts. That's the way I wanted it. Because I wanted to bring Africa to everybody else. Then the company got people from the Caribbean. We got people from United States. We got people African American. We got people from the island. And that's the reason why, that's the thing I wanted.
Yeah.
See, I wanted to company with everybody African. I stay in Africa. The idea was to bring everybody,
spread the word,
from Africa together and to able to present our own culture in this country.
Yeah.
All the teachers from Africa, where everybody else come from here. So that was the idea.
Talk to me about some of the movements. What makes an African dance African dance?
Because Africa, our dancing always tell history. or symbolize what we do the best, or symbolize something, the area we live. So we got our spiritual dance and we got our ceremony dance. The dance is varied because all our happiness dance come from our spiritual dance. Just to look like here, they carry the same tradition, not to know it. So you go to the Holy Church, so you watch them, you see Africa back.
Yeah.
So that's the language, that's the way the dance comes from.
Now talk to me about the drums. How does the drums play a movement in the dance?
You see, the drum, the dancer and the drummer got a good communication.
Yeah.
We don't count our dance. We listen to the language of the drum. The drum can able to tell us what time to start, what time to stop, move, and way to go.
So is there really any dance without the drum?
Without the drum.
There's no...
Well, some of the ethnic group, they can sing because when you drum, because the music is a language. Some of them, they can, just to let, sometimes we have a ceremony, we let the dancer, the drummer rest, and they can just to clap. And the clap is to know the rhythm, know the language for them to keep dancing.
Yeah. Talk to me about the space that we're in. We're at Tacoma Park.
Yeah.
And you're teaching classes. We're going to get into some of those classes a little bit later
Yes.
in the episode, hopefully.
Yes.
Talk to me about, the people who come here. What do they feel when they leave?
You see, this is the therapy place.
Therapy.
After a long day of work and stress, this is the place. This is the healing place with health, exercise, communication with people, because we gather here together every other day. And some of them been coming here since the 80s. And these are seniors. This is it's bringing a sense of family.
Yeah.
Because everybody come here, some of them drive from Baltimore, every classes. Some people come from far away Virginia to come here for classes. This is look like a place where we can come together and share things together and be relaxed. And really, it's a healing place. That's all I can say. Because I got to be here.
Yeah, sounds like quite the fellowship.
I got to have it.
Got to have it, huh?
Yes, indeed.
It's one of
Yeah,
those.
the drums is part of who we are.
Yeah.
Because the show we did this evening, I didn't really like all those Africans. Doesn't matter where they come from. They all jump in the stage. They were dancing from Ghana. We know we play a lot of rhythm. What we did is the whole show we didn't perform. They did the performance, the employee, because they all African. So we play a little bit for Ghana, play a little bit for Gambia, little Senegalese, a little Malian, and they
took over the performance.
They just enjoy it. It was just that show you what I'm talking about, the healing. They just went bizarre. Everything, every production I do, the community is part of it too.
That's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. And until next time, always remember to follow your art.